Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. Today, we're broadcasting live from Ben Grimm's concrete living room.
God.
Hey, you can't hurt this place, man. So the furnishings, not the most comfortable, but...
Joe, if it can be broken, you'll find a way to break it.
Absolutely. So, hey.
But I did discover when you stretch out on the couch just right, you can pop your back really easily.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good, solid furnishings here.
Getting some serious deja vu from these jokes.
Yeah, we don't want to go back too far. But anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddies Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth. And guys, today, Brandon, you promised you were going to give us a spoiler light discussion on Black Widow.
I can't guarantee a spoiler free, but I will be spoiler light as I tell you about how Black Widow turned out.
Okay, gotcha.
It is in my top 3 favorite Marvel movies already.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Really?
Dude, the action's great, but we'll get into that later.
Okay, and this isn't some head fake because Brandon, you're the guy that told me.
I have messed with your brain many times, and Terminator Genesis will go down in infamy because I convinced you to go see it at friggin' midnight.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Brandon once, when Terminator Genesis came out like 6 years ago, you convinced me what a great movie it was as a practical joke, and then I wasted 10 of my hard-earned dollars to go see it, so I take your advice with a grain of salt. But okay, that's high praise. We're going to get into that.
I really dug it.
Speaking of Disney, we've been following The Bad Batch every week, which we're going to weigh in on.
Honestly, if you're a Star Wars fan and you're not watching the Dave Filoni produced Star Wars animated series, whether it be Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Rebels, any of that stuff, you're missing out on some of the best Star Wars stories out there.
The most sophisticated, the most well-acted, the most fleshed-out characters is the kids' show.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
It really is.
Allan, you've got science, but you're not going to tell me what it is.
I'm just going to say it's near and dear to, certain body parts.
Okay.
Joe's back.
And we're going to hold off on our Loki discussion because let's face it, we got 1 week left, and I think you have a special guest you're going to bring in.
Yes.
So
I'm in talks with a special guest who will show a different perspective than what 3 old white dudes will talk about.
Okay, gotcha. So
it's true.
Okay, cool. So hey guys, before we so we got a lot to dive into today on a Geek Tank Radio. Before we do that, we want to introduce something. I don't know if we teased this last week, but one of the staples of our show, at least in our the old show that we really had a lot of fun with, was our Bad Geek Confession.
The last time we were genuinely on the air, Bad Geek Confession was one of the highest rated segments we did.
We loved it, and the
fans loved it.
And it's good for the soul to confess things that you're when you fail and when you fall short. It's good. So here's what we're looking for, folks. We're going to give you a couple of examples. These are past Bad Geek Confessions, and we don't want. Okay, we don't want raunchy. We don't want. We don't want stupid either. Like if you say, "Oh, I'm not a fan of Wesley Crusher," who cares? That's not a bad geek confession.
Right.
But
and it's while we don't want raunchy, if it's a little spicy, we'll clean it up for the radio.
Yeah, that's true. So here's one. This is way back. This is one of our early Bad Geek Confessions.
Okay.
Somebody sent in. They said, I make fun of bronies, but at home I have a life-size Rainbow Dash pillow in my closet.
Pillow guy.
And it was a guy.
Yeah, I want you to realize that this guy, he won free passes to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention for telling us that he had a body pillow with Rainbow Dash.
I forgot to mention. Yeah, if you submit a Bad Geek Confession, what's the best way, Brandon, to our private message?
Send it to geektankradio@gmail.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us right now. That may change in the future, but right now that is the easiest way.
And if your Bad Geek Confession is read on the air, we will give you 2 free passes to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, which is like an $80 value.
Right.
That's a really good
if
prize.
you don't want your information shared as far as your name, if you don't want people to know who you are, make sure you mark on the email, "Don't read my name on the air."
Right.
Or if you don't put that, we will tell. Yeah. We will throw you so far under the bus that the treads will be your new cosplay.
We'll give your first name. The other thing we want you to do is throw your friends under the bus. So if your friend is a bad geek, send us that. Allan especially likes those.
But if you do that, I'm going to say that the second pass has to go to that friend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So they're suffering. Here's another one, you guys. And I see this all the time at a convention. This person said, "I'm a huge fan of Firefly and Evil Dead, even though I've never watched any of the episodes."
In their defense,
And Allan can relate to this because he's the same way.
Yeah, well, in their defense, there's so much material about certain geek products. You don't have to see it. You can't escape it.
I don't know. I disagree.
My
but go ahead.
Firefly cosplay is really just me cosplaying a fan of Firefly.
Yeah. Now, okay, can we stipulate there? Because I'm a fan of, like, Doctor Who fans. I never watched the show, but I like the Doctor Who fans I've encountered. So.
That just sounds like a deep dive we're going to have to do later on a podcast.
Sounds like a psychological examination.
Exactly.
Too. So that's what we got, folks. We want we've got some other zingers too.
My true geek confession is I'm a year older than Doctor Who. There you go. That's Friday.
And you're still kicking. So send those to geektankradio@gmail.com and send us some messages and get involved because it's going to be a lot of fun. And we want to incorporate that. That's going to be a weekly I don't know, episode or a weekly segment on the shows. So guys, okay, we're gonna take a quick break shortly, and Allan, you've got some science that's sure to astound and I am
not going to let you tease it
and traumatize.
Funny, use that word trauma.
Yeah,
that's going to have a lot to do with my science.
Okay, very interesting. So
that's how I can beat a good segue out of him.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. All of a sudden, an avenue has opened up.
Okay, and also keep in mind too with Geek Tank Radio. Those of you who are new to it, we are going to be introducing. We'll be giving regular updates for the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention because that's our baby. We run the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, so stand by for updates for that. Anyway, it's all coming at you on Geek Tank Radio here on News Radio 98.9 The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth. And Allan, talk to us. You're going to get sciencey.
Dun, dun, dun. Today we are going to discuss the wonderful world of FEDs.
Yeah, okay. We love acronyms here on
Geek Tank, we live. We're in the geek world.
FEDs.
I'm not a huge fan of the feds.
Yeah.
Well, how about fracture electrostimulation devices?
Wait, say that
That's
again.
the name of Joe's new band.
I was about to say that's the band name.
Fracture electrostimulation device.
Okay. Go ahead, Allan.
You got to tell us what it is.
The fracture part doesn't seem to fit with me, but
well, it does.
I've seen you fall off a ladder. Fracture definitely fits.
This is a topic I chose specifically for you.
I know where this is going. I'm thinking of Deadpool and Wolverine for some reason, but go ahead.
You should be. Oh, look at this.
Right there with you, Joe.
He's listened to enough of my science to know where this is going to go.
Yeah.
Alrighty. It is a well-known fact that electrical stimulation helps heal wounds, up to and including broken bones.
When you say electrical stimulation, Allan, there's a for people that have lower back issues, there's a patch that you put on there, and I don't really know what it does, but I know it's giving off electrical waves.
Well, it's a TENS machine, and it actually you actually put a couple of electrodes on your body. You set the amount of stimulation, aka the amount of current you're going to pass through your body, and you turn it on, and it begins to flex and unflex the muscles based on a pattern that you choose.
Wow. This is making me think about a lot of stuff beyond this.
And it is a wonderful, if you've ever used a TENS machine or had a application for it, it is absolutely magnificent. But we're going to go a little further than that. We're going to go for somebody that, I don't know, falls off a ladder and hits the ground and maybe breaks a bone or something like that.
Didn't break a bone, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
I did crack a rib.
Yeah, well, let's say we do have a broken arm or broken leg.
Okay.
There's probably going to be a little minor surgery to put some plates in there and fix that, right?
Yep.
Well, it would be great. Now, there is a really cool device that is an electromagnetic stimulation circle.
Right.
That you can wave up and down over an arm or over a wound area, and it will get stimulation into the wound bed and get things healing.
Cool.
But that's still exterior of the body. What if we could get right down on the bone?
Here we go.
Are we getting nanites?
Yeah. I'm thinking Star Trek now.
We're
so-
getting
okay.
close here.
Yeah.
Of what we have is Professor Zudong Wang, and he is at the University of Wisconsin at Madison. And he decided what we really, really needed was a fracture electromagnetic stimulation device, an electrostimulation.
Okay.
So what he has is an actual patch that would go into the body at the point and provide electro stimulation to the wound.
Would you still wear a cast? I guess you'd have to while it's
Well,
healing, right?
you're going to wear a cast, but here's the problem. How do you get it out?
Well,
Yeah.
you don't.
When you're done. I mean, just put something in your body and in there. So here's kind of what he decided to do. He's looking at it and he goes, all right, we have the bone break site. We know we're going to do a little surgery. What if we repair that and then we put the fracture electrostimulation device in there? And why don't we have it? And we've talked about this before. Why don't we use, nanogeneration to take any type of muscular energy around it, aka as you move around, and have it begin producing the electrical energy you need to accelerate the healing of the wound.
Okay.
All right, this is cool, right? Because we've talked about nanotechnology and nanogenerators in the past.
It sounds really good, but at the same time, you brought up the point of getting it out.
Yeah.
So we're kind of hanging on the cliff right here, Alan.
And those who are new to Geek Tank Radio should know what alarm bells are going off. Brandon's thinking of the practical thing. I'm already thinking of how Vladimir Putin's going to weaponize this and use this technology to dominate humanity.
We should definitely start all our science segments with a content warning.
Right.
Joe will look to a Russian conspiracy.
Joe will look for the Red Skull.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I tell you what. Why don't we just make it out of a biocompatible polymer and let your body absorb it when you're done?
Say a biodegradable.
A biocompatible or biodegradable polymer.
But see, Alan, biocompatible doesn't sound like biodegradable to me. It sounds like it's just going to stay there.
Nope. It's going to be absorbed by your body when it's done.
We're sure of that.
Kind of like those biocompatible, stitches.
I've heard of these hernia mesh things that people talk about. That now the lawyers are getting rich off of that.
That's the lawyer thing.
Okay.
This right here, basically, using a nanogeneration process, works very similar to the idea of how muscles move against each other. That helps generate the nanoelectrical charge that is then transferred to the wound bed so that it accelerates healing. Once all of that is done, the polymer is absorbable by the human body, so you don't have to go back in and get it.
Question.
Okay.
Alan, maybe I'm wrong, but don't young people heal quicker than older people? Isn't that an issue?
Lord have mercy, you're asking me that? Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, I'm just because I feel like there has got to be a lot of variety of settings depending on how severe the break is, depending on the age of the person, depending on their diet, depending on their body structure.
That would all be programmed into the FED before you put it in.
Wow. So basically computer programmers are basically going to be running this operation. Yeah, the new doctors, right?
Well, the surgeon's going to have to go in and put in the plates and fix this, but to get that healing jump started and to make sure that especially geezers like you and I heal up faster and quicker, an FED could be applied to the site and you install it, you let it do its job, and you forget about it.
Okay. Does it come out anywhere that
No,
will be noticeable
by the body. It's absorbed by the body.
If it gets absorbed into the body, then it's just going to be anything that is left over will get expelled like waste, like anything else.
Okay. All right.
Joe's going to be checking that.
Well, I know when kids swallow a marble or something, you got to scan. You got to monitor the situation.
Well, I don't think we're going to be waiting on your leg to come out. So.
All right. So, okay. Is this just for bones, or can this heal internal injuries? Or
right now he's testing it for bones, but having used electrostatic wands, I will tell you that is for any wound, any surgery, any time. So any type of really bad trauma, the electrical stimulation does help. And for people with chronic pain, like I said, I'll go back to a TENS machine, which is basically, do-it-yourself home electrocution. Very, very mild settings, uses batteries you buy at, your local store. Put a 9-volt battery in it, you set up the electrodes, you fire it up, and they do help relieve pain. They do help in healing. So,
Allan, maybe you told us this, but so I don't know how long a normal broken bone would take to heal. I always feel like it's about 6 or 8 weeks. What sort of time frame are we looking at with this?
It can reduce that by 25%.
Okay, all right. So it's not anything. It's not. We're not talking about Wolverine or Deadpool yet.
We got to start small.
Okay.
And then you got to work your way in.
Well, when you're laying there in that bed, let me tell you, 2 weeks earlier is a lot.
Oh yeah, no, I guess it's good. I don't know. I'm just thinking how you could reverse engineer something like this.
All I can think is that at this point, I see Allan after his hip surgery with electrodes from a jumper cables from a battery, and that's why he came back so quick.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Because he cut about 3 weeks off of his return time as it was.
Okay.
I have no idea how I managed to make it to that convention.
Yeah.
Or throw people off a stairwell. Anyway.
So this is still in the research phase. Nobody's actually marketing this stuff yet.
It is not actually marketed, but it is in the animal testing phase, and the results that they're getting are
Joe's an animal.
Fantastic.
Okay, awesome. Well, the results here on Geek Tank Radio are fantastic. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Brandon is going to try to not spoil the Black Widow movie for me.
Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth. And I was remiss. And behind the glass, our super producer, Maximilian. He's kind of like Spock. He only goes by a singular name. What I like about that, Max, is it can be Max. It can be Maxie, like Zeus Maxie. I don't know.
It's Maxie Zeus, if you're going to get your Batman villains correct.
Ilian. What are you going to call him, Allan? I mean, depending on... I mean, we're at 91. The Max is our sister station.
Yeah,
so
I'm just kind of sitting here looking at him and looking at the width of our wonderful producer over there.
Yeah.
MAX is also going to fit on the back of his T-shirt.
That's true, yeah. But Max, great job back there. It's good to have you. And from time to time, we may ask him to chime in. But, yeah.
He'll have better opinions than Joe.
Yeah, Maximilian. Okay, but Brandon, now, please. This is the first.
Everything in my power to make sure that I do not spoil anything for you.
Okay.
But it's really hard to talk about how great this movie was without giving a few things away.
I'm trying to remember though. What is because 2020 was obviously a bust for movies, but when is the last in theater Marvel movie that was it Endgame? I mean, the last big one. I don't know. I think it was
toss up between it and Spider-Man. I mean, which was the last one?
Technically, Far From Home is considered the epilogue to Endgame. So
yeah,
okay,
we'll give it to Spidey.
All right, we'll give it to him. So Black Widow came out, and it's in theaters and Disney
Plus.
But what is the Disney?
All right, so the Disney Plus Premier Access. It's $35 for the movie, and a lot of people are like, "I'm not going to pay that much for a movie," but at the same time, your entire family can watch it as many times as they want for a month. Mm-hmm. And if you went and saw Black Widow in the theaters this past week, you almost spent between $18 and $20 to see it by yourself, not counting concessions.
Oh, an IMAX,
so,
yeah.
You want to flush out the $35, get a small box of popcorn.
Right.
Well, I'm going Monday, Brandon. I couldn't go before, but anyway, I don't want it ruined. But I'm going to the theater. I want the theater.
I am going to give you a whole lot of grief, man. You're like the de facto leader of the Geek Patrol. You need to get on the ball and get in there and see these movies on Thursday nights.
Normally, just so everybody knows, normally we will be at all movie releases the day before on Thursday, and we'll report in. So
it's been a weird week, though.
It was a weird week. Anyway,
guys. So yes, Black Widow. It was supposed to come out a couple of years back, and then it got pushed into 2020. And then, of course, we all know what happened with movies in 2020. We didn't get them. This movie takes place between Civil War and Infinity War. And it kicks off like right after Natasha has had her fight with T'Challa at the airport.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, this is the only real spoiler I'm going to give you on it. Thunderbolt Ross is leading a tag team of, like elite soldiers going after Natasha.
Okay.
And she has evaded them. They think they know where she's at. No. But it was good to see, William Hurt step in as, Thunderbolt Ross again.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there on, she's on the run. It is, full on, you get to see a moment where she's looking towards dyeing her hair blonde and everything, and then she gets sent a package. But you also get to see the widows in action from the Red Room point of view. You get to see them on missions, and there is a MacGuffin, as there is in every Marvel movie, which can break the mental hold that the Red Room has on them. You find all that out within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Hey, Brandon, I guess I'm confused. Now, I did full disclosure. Black Widow is not a comic I read, but when you're saying the widows, is that the order that she came from, or is that her family?
That is an elite trained squad of Russian soldiers that are made up completely of little girls who were taken from their families as children and trained up and both mentally and physically manipulated to be the ultimate soldiers.
Right. Okay.
Without being super soldiers. There is a Russian super soldier. You've seen him in the trailers, the Red Guardian.
He's not looking so super these days.
David Harbour, who you know from Stranger Things and Hellboy fame, one better than the other, one much better than the other, and still not all that great. Yeah. Anyway, he's really good in this, but you also get Rachel Weisz to fill out the family. She is the mother Melina, and their family was put together as a cohesive unit to invade America. So when you first start this movie, you also get to see 1995 Yelena and Natasha growing up in Ohio.
Oh, this is interesting because that's an interesting era.
It's really good. I mean, you're only in there for a little bit before everything kicks off, and this is all before you get the title card. So
they're pulling the pin on the hand grenade and throwing it in.
Right.
So
they're like,
great.
Oh, you want to know more about Nat? Here you go. And but I mean, there's not a moment in this movie where you're just like, oh, this is dragging on. Oh, what are we going next? Because all of those moments are filled with, especially once Natasha and Yelena are together. This is like watching two sisters bond over, espionage.
Okay. Hey, can I ask you something? Because here's the other thing I'm wondering about. That with the release of this, at first I thought, oh, well, this is an afterthought because they never gave Black Widow her own solo movie. But if it's a prequel, it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't want to give certain things away about her till after Endgame or something. So does it feel natural, in other words?
It feels very natural.
Okay, good.
And I mean, even though, that, when it's all said and done, that Nat's going to make it out okay because this takes place before you saw her, spoiler alert, death in Endgame.
Well,
so, it's like, you get to, enjoy the movie, but you always, when she's in danger in this movie, you feel that, oh my God, she could die.
Yeah.
Even though in the back of your mind, she's in Marvel movies that take place after this.
Yeah.
Well, yes. And I'm also going to throw in, it's not just whether or not Natasha's in danger.
That's true.
Every one of those scenes is a plural.
Yes.
And there is absolutely no guarantee anybody else in that scene, good guy, bad guy, or innocent bystander, is going to get out of there intact.
There's a line in this movie, though, Joe, that it's going to make you... and here's something else. You look at the trailers and you're expecting something almost Winter Soldier-esque. And while the action and intrigue there's also a lot of humor. There's a lot of heart in this. There's a scene, though, and when you see the scene, you'll know what I'm talking about. But Yelena has a line in it where she just goes, wow, that would be a cool way to die. And the whole time you're feeling that. It's like, if I was going to go, this would be the perfect way.
And Yelena has the perfect, I am the younger sister attitude.
Oh, yeah.
And I am here to torture you to the nth degree.
Yeah. Florence Pugh does an amazing job.
What
as
great
Yelena,
chemistry.
And I'll be honest, I want more movies with her and Scarlett Johansson together. I know that unless they bring her back and through the multiverse of madness, that Nat's gone. But if you were to take these two and give me a Cagney and Lacey big budget movie, I would be all down for it. Hell, you want to remake Lethal Weapon with female leads? There you go. Nat can be the I'm too old for this, and and Florence Pugh can be the crazy off the wall Riggs character.
The whole you're a poser.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was rolling.
Yeah,
I was like, if that is not your little sister just giving you absolute shade.
It reminds me of Cherie giving King T'Challa all this grief. He's this big.
It's very close to that without the pretense of regality.
Okay, yeah, but it's the same thing. She's an Avenger. She's a big shot.
You've got kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have seen the way your kids interact, and if you took your daughters and put them in a situation. I mean, I know that neither one of them are going to go, become Russian spies or anything. Putin doesn't have a hold on your family.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
So, but
that he knows about.
But that's the thing is their chemistry was so great. It's very natural. And of course, when Big Sister does something that you were about to do, you kind of shake your head, you roll your eyes. There's a lot, but not so much that you're taken out of the movie because of the fact that you're getting the sister bonding hook.
You're making me think of the siblings of. Did you wear my sweatshirt? Look at this thing. Are they like? Did you take my my grenade launcher? Did you take my?
And there's always the. Did you get blood all over this?
I'm just gonna say, there's a vest moment.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Okay, I don't know, man. And does it leave you with okay? Here's what's coming next.
All right. Well, see. It ends, shortly before Infinity War starts.
Okay.
So you know where it's going, but there's a great scene after the credits, because it's a Marvel movie.
Of course.
That sets something up that makes you just go, yes, more.
Awesome. Well, speaking of yes, more, you're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, wrap up our thoughts on Black Widow, and then talk about the Bad Batch.
Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth, and behind the glass our great producer Maximilian, Maxie, whatever you want to call him, Big Max, I don't know. Not so big, but anyway. Hey, Max, great job behind the glass. We appreciate you, and I'm off the air once again.
Max has actually made you sound good.
Yeah. Allan's pretty much doing his best to ruin the Black Widow movie for me, dropping all sorts of little spoilers. Allan, I don't want to know anymore.
I honestly thought Allan was going to make you run out of the room, and we were going to have to finish the show without you. I mean, I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm very capable, but
so uncharacteristically, I have not seen the newest Marvel release. Normally, we're all on top of our game. We will all go see the movie on Thursday night. So this week just happened to be a little bit hectic, but and also I'm a little rusty, Brandon. Usually we would, anytime a movie like this comes out, we'd have our advance tickets, we'd be getting our groups organized, we meet over there, but it got to get back in the groove a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's true. Also, with the different ways of being able to view it, Alyssa went and she, one of our younger hosts and
acolytes,
Allie.
Our acolytes, she went and saw it in the IMAX on Thursday night, and then I watched it on Disney Plus, like early Friday morning. So it is going to take a while to get back into the groove of all of us getting together and going and seeing it.
Yeah, so. I do miss the party atmosphere, and of course, back in the past, the all-time champion was the Black Panther screening. That was because my gosh,
that was an
good.
event.
Yeah,
I mean the full energy of being at the theater for that.
Yeah,
that was amazing. And I don't know if we'll ever get that again, because the only thing that came close to that one was when we went and saw Endgame. But the movie was kind of ruined for me because the girl next to me, because we were packed in there like sardines, she cried the whole movie. It's like everything was happy tear, sad tear, and I'm like going, I can't hear half of what they're saying because you're sniffling.
Yeah, he yelled at the girl next to him.
I did.
Stop crying.
I didn't yell at
baby.
her, but my wife looked over at me and was like, "Is she okay?" I was like, "No, no, not at all."
So, well, hey, let's stick with Disney.
Yes.
We've been following the Bad Batch every week, which, Brandon, fair game. You called this back when we first saw the Bad Batch, and I think it was season 7 of Clone Wars. You said, I just want a Bad Batch series.
I just want a Bad Batch series, and then they gave it to me.
And they heard you, so.
It makes me think that your house is bugged, because I said that in your house.
Oh, yeah. So we're on episode 11. What is it, 16 or 13
It's
episodes?
16 episodes for the season.
Okay.
Which, it's like, yay, because 16 is a good number for episodes. That whole, like, cutting off at 13, it's like, you could have done so much more. And it's really just because I'm selfish.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this was an episode that kind of stepped back away from the Batch. We got a little bit of them. But we got to see a couple of characters that we are near and dear to our hearts. Just she's a little bit younger, and of course I'm talking about Hera from Rebels, and of course Trusty Chopper.
Now she had a really strong accent. I don't remember her having such a strong accent in Rebels.
Well, I mean, it's
like I know she's older and everything, but yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point she hasn't left Ryloth at all. By the time we meet her in Rebels, she's grown up. She's been on to the Outer Rim. The accent has faded. Chopper hadn't changed at all.
Yeah, Chopper's funny.
But no, it was a really it's like you always get an episode in the midst of a series which kind of steps away from the main crew and gives you an idea of what they're dealing with, what's going on adjacent to them. And this was perfect because everybody wants to see more about the Rebels characters. Every one of those characters is good.
Yeah.
The most annoying one was, of course, Ezra, but he went that same route that every Dave Filoni cartoon has. You start off with a kid that you expect to be kind of annoying, and later on you grow to love that character so much that you want more and more stories. He did that with Ahsoka back in Clone Wars.
Ahsoka's the prime example. I hated her at first, and then I'm like, okay, she's now my favorite character.
In the original Clone Wars, 3-part movie, she it's like she's carrying around Jabba's little kid, and she calls him Stinky, and it's like, oh my god,
yeah,
really. But then you by the time Clone Wars is over or Rebels is over, or we see her on The Mandalorian, every time Ahsoka shows up, you just cheer.
Yeah. Yeah, she earns her place. I guess that's what Dave Filoni does well, is he makes you earn your place.
And Omega is the
new example of that.
And yeah, you expect her to be.
Well, Dave Filoni understands, I don't know, the basic principles of storytelling, like character development, growth, a story arc.
Yeah,
I know what a radical idea.
It's definitely unique in today's modern era of storytelling.
Yes,
where it's like you basically get a trading card in the first episode that tells you everything pertinent about this character, but then they never do anything else.
Right.
Well, I was curious about that too, because when I was watching Bad Batch for the first time, I don't remember if Omega was in the first episode or second, but immediately she got on my nerves, and I'm like, okay, spoiler, I already know she's going to become a great character because I know how Dave Filoni operates. So is he going to have to find a different tactic, or
he may have to? But if you look, he didn't take nearly as long with Omega as he did with Ahsoka or Ezra.
Ezra took forever.
It's like by episode 3, you're cheering for Omega. It's no longer the Bad Batch; it's the Omega Show. And yes, I call it the Omega Show because that's how she says her name.
Oh yeah, she's got a funny accent like that. Rika, hey Rika,
yeah. She's got a Kiwi accent, and it's adorable.
Wait, is that because the actor that played Jango Fett was Australian? I thought there was
the actress who voices Omega is.
No,
well.
but I'm saying she's a prime, whatever they call it, like a prime clone, so that she would have a thicker accent than the others. I thought so. Yeah. Anyway,
but
so like shooting a copy on a copier, the further away from the original you get, the duller the copy gets.
I guess so.
Okay.
But
just checking,
What I enjoyed about the Bad Batch when it came out was the period that it's set on. It's set at literally day one of the new empire, and you could say day one of the rebellion, because it started right out of the gate. Yeah. The rebellion might not have seemed as strong.
You get to see the seeds, being planted if it's not already in full fledged.
Yeah, it's a lot of political intrigue for a kids show. It's just amazing though, but. I don't know.
I got news for you. Some of these quote unquote kids shows have better storylines, fewer crutches,
and more slams on modern day society than you could shake a stick at.
Sure.
And usually and I was about to say in the best send ups.
Yeah.
Because they're they're the ones where, kids do like to make fun of this stuff.
Yeah.
They may not understand it, but they understand goofy is goofy.
Yeah.
And let's make fun of it. But not having grown-up crutches to rely on, you got to actually have to tell a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell a story coherent, because I got news for you. The average 8, 9, 12-year-old is got no problem busting you out for a weak story.
We've seen this at cons.
I've seen this repeatedly.
Yeah, they'll tell you their opinion.
I mean,
that 14-year-old dude who totally ripped into Galen that time.
Oh yeah.
No, that's the one that got et.
But the Bad Batch, so 16 episodes, and I feel like there's going to be there'll be more than one season, right?
Oh God, I hope so. And I feel that we need to do a full-on podcast exclusive deep dive on that once the season's over.
Yeah, because we still got to see what happens with Crosshair. Hopefully they get him back and get that thing out of his brain and everything else. So. Well, you've been listening to another action-packed episode of Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis, but it's time to get out of here, guys. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
And I am Brandon Olmstead, reminding you to check in and see which one of us is actually the Bad Batch of the Geek Patrol.